Okay, so let us continue with the 10.7 lymphatic system of humans. 10.7.1 synthesize the process of formation of tissue fluid and lymph. 10.7.2 compare and contrast the contents of lymph and tissue fluids and blood. 10.7.3 describe components of the lymphatic system, lymphatic capillaries, lymphatic vessels, lymph nodes, lymphatic organs. And 10.7.4 justify the necessity of the lymphatic system, complements the blood circulatory system, transport lipid-soluble substances, and body defense. Okay, body defense. Okay, so we continue. Okay, human lymphatic system. So this is another system that you have to know lah. Okay, inside our body. So the formation of tissue fluid. In addition to the blood circulatory system, there is one more system in the body whose function is closely related to the blood circulatory system. This is called the lymphatic system. So the formation of the tissue fluid is illustrated in figure 10.20. Okay. So we read first, later I will explain lah by using the diagram. First one, blood that reach the arteriole. So I think this one you can change into arteriole. Okay. End of the blood capillary has a high pressure due to the small diameter of capillaries and the pumping force of the heart. Okay. Number 2, this pressure allows the blood plasma to diffuse continuously from the blood capillaries to the intercellular space. So what is intercellular space? Okay, later I will explain. Okay, number 3, blood plasma that occupies the intercellular space and constantly buff cell is called tissue fluid. And the tissue fluid does not contain any erythrocyte, platelet, and plasma protein because these are too large to diffuse out of the blood capillaries. And then 4, tissue fluid allows the exchange of materials in the blood and cells to occur. Nutrients and oxygen diffuse from tissue fluid to body cells and simultaneously excretory products and carbon dioxide diffuse from body cells to blood capillaries through the tissue fluid. Okay, so these are the explanation lah. So let us use the diagram lah. I think when using diagram you can understand better, right? So we make this bigger. So I just focus to this side. Okay, this side. This side. Because it's actually the start at the arteriole. Okay. Okay, arteriole. So we can make it bigger now. Okay. 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 Yes. Okay, so what happened? The first thing that occurs is that blood that reach the arteriole end of the blood capillary has a high pressure due to the small diameter of capillaries and the pumping force of the heart. Okay, so we have blood here, right? So this is the blood. So blood flow here. So because of the pumping, correct? Pumping of heart. Pumping force, right? Pumping force of the heart. So it will make the blood flow of the heart. And then the blood will reach here at the arteriole. So now the arteriole will become smaller in diameter here. So now we have the smaller diameter. Small diameter. So this actually can produce a high pressure. So blood that flow here, from here to here, it become high pressure here lah. Blood that flow in here will become high pressure. High pressure because of the small diameter and also the pumping force of the heart. So the blood will flow in the high pressure here. Okay, because of the high pressure here. This pressure, okay, high pressure, right? So high pressure here will allows the blood plasma to diffuse continuously from the blood capillaries to the intercellular space. So this will make the blood plasma here. Here we have the blood plasma. So maybe I will put the right red color. So we have actually here is the blood plasma, right? So here that occupies the capillary here and so on. So we have the blood plasma. So blood plasma will diffuse. Okay, diffuse continuously from the blood capillaries to the intercellular space. So what is intercellular space? Intercellular space is the space here, this one, that actually separate the cell lah. This one, this is all the intercellular space. This one also intercellular space, mean the space between the cell. So actually the cell not close together. There is actually space. So the space is known as intercellular space. Intercellular space. Okay. So when the blood plasma diffuse continuously into this space, intercellular space, okay, it will occupies. So it will occupies means it will fill the space here. So now the blood plasma will fill the space between the cell. Okay, the blood plasma here. So all the space will be occupied lah by this blood plasma and buff the cell. So now the cell will buff lah in blood plasma here. Okay, all will be filled in with the blood plasma. So now this one we not call this one as blood plasma. The fluid here known as tissue fluid. So now this is called as tissue fluid. Okay, so when the blood plasma diffuse continuously and buff the cell and occupies the space between the cell, so the fluid is known as tissue fluid. We not call this as blood plasma. Blood plasma is inside the capillary. Okay, when it diffuse here, known as tissue fluid. So the tissue fluid will occupies lah, will the space between the cell. Okay, so all will fill with the itulah the tissue fluid. Okay, all occur in all space. Okay, occur in the space, all the intercellular space of the cell. So we have the tissue fluid. Okay, okay, understand or not? So you must remember, the tissue fluid actually come from the blood plasma that diffuse continuously because of the high pressure. Then it will fill, or if it occupies the space, the intercellular space, the space between the cell, so it will form the tissue fluid. So the tissue fluid actually come from the blood plasma. Okay, but there are difference. What difference between the tissue fluid and also blood plasma? Okay, so before this we learned that blood plasma have, okay, blood plasma has what? Has the leukocyte, okay, and then we have the erythrocyte, okay, and then plasma protein. Okay, wait lah. So okay, so I will write here lah. Okay. Okay. So blood plasma contain erythrocyte. Erythrocyte is red blood cell. Okay, and then we have the leukocyte. Okay, white blood cell. Plasma protein. Okay, and then we have also platelets. Okay, for example, so but for tissue fluid now, tissue fluid here, it does not have erythrocyte, no erythrocyte, no platelet, no plasma protein, because these three are lush. Okay, too lush. to diffuse into the from the blood capillaries into the intercellular space. So tissue fluid just have a lymphocyte. Lymphocyte. You still remember what is lymphocyte? Lymphocyte. Lymphocyte is type of leukocyte. Type of white blood cell lah. Because lymphocyte actually can change shape and it can diffuse from the blood capillary to the intercellular space. So for the tissue fluid, it will have lymphocyte, but these three, no. Erythrocyte, platelets, plasma protein, no. So this is different between the tissue fluid and the blood plasma, although the tissue fluid actually come from the blood plasma. Okay? So different. Okay, now we have learned about the tissue fluid here. So what is the function of this tissue fluid? Okay, the tissue fluid actually allow the exchange of materials in the blood and cells to occur. So before this, okay, I make it bigger lah. Bigger. Okay. Before this, we learned that, for example, we have oxygen, right? Okay, oxygen. So oxygen will diffuse into the cell like this. And then CO2 from the cell will diffuse from the cell to the blood capillaries and so on. But actually, this, for example, we have oxygen here, oxygen from the red blood cell. It will diffuse into the tissue fluid. Then from tissue fluid, it will diffuse into the cell. So this is the correct way lah. Okay, how the exchange of materials occur. And at the same time, if we have this CO2 here, CO2 will then diffuse into tissue fluid, then we go back to the blood like this. So this means this tissue fluid actually the medium, okay, medium of exchange of materials between the cell and also the blood. Okay, so whatever nutrients also same lah. Nutrients, if you have nutrients here, nutrients. So nutrient also will diffuse here and then go to the cell. And then if you have the waste product, for example, such as urea, okay, urea, right? So urea, we also will diffuse into this tissue fluid, then will be diffuse to the blood capillaries and to the blood lah. So that is the function of the tissue fluid. So you must remember, actually the cell not close together, but there are actually space between them. So the space is known as intercellular space. So then the blood plasma will diffuse continuously to form the tissue fluid that will occupies the space between the cell. And the function of the tissue fluid actually to allow the exchange of materials in the blood and cells to occur. So actually this one of the fluid inside our body. Okay.